What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the Poke Office. My name is Colin. Today's video is looking at all of the singles that have been moving over the last couple months, because it has been a wild journey in Pokemon singles over the last couple months. We got all the new sets like Paradox Rift, Paldean Fates, Twilight, Masquerade, and Temporal Forces is the one that I even forgot, which I've been calling the Forgotten set. Then we have all the old Sword and Shield sets. Crown Zenith has been on a tear. Lots of the alternate arts like Battle Styles, Chilling Rain, Fusion Strike, Brilliant Stars, Astral Radiance, Lost Origin, Silver Tempest, all have been skyrocketing. If you didn't notice, I skipped Evolving Skies because that has to be mentioned all by itself, because that one in and of itself is a whole different ball game. It's absolutely crazy. We got lots of data to go through today. I think there's 70 slides on my presentation, so it's just gonna be rapid fire. Hope you're ready for it. Before we get to it, if you're liking the content on the Poke Office, make sure to subscribe to the channel with bell notifications on. Hit the like button. Leave a comment because it really helps me grow. I love doing it, but I like seeing growth too. So if you want to help me out, do that. You could also join the membership. Gives you discounts on the pack breaks, as well as just supports me. So that's kind of cool too. Let's get to it. Doing all those things, by the way, is going to get you into an entry to win a $20 credit for the next Poke Office live stream, where we're going to rip into some packs. Here's this presentation, June 2024 singles. Also, one more side note, sorry to make this a little bit of a rambly introduction, but the thumbnail on this video, I changed it. It usually says buy these now and then like a bunch of singles. This one I said sell these now, just because all of these cards are so high up. That is not actually telling you to sell all these cards. You got to make your own decisions. You got to do your own research. I'm in this video just reporting the data of what's been going on lately with all these singles, and the thumbnail is a little bit clickbaity. Let's get to it. Okay, so here's where we're going to start. We're going to start with Twilight Masquerade, the newest set. It's been out for almost 2 weeks now, and honestly, I think this set is producing better results than almost everyone expected. Okay, so I also didn't pick all of the top cards. I kind of just picked some that are a little bit standout-ish. This one, I included the Dragapult EX because usually the ultra rare Terra cards have not done that spectacularly so far in Scarlet and Violet era. This one, however, doing quite good. I think this is a player in the TCG, and it's up 9.1% over the first couple weeks here. On these specific cards, the start date was on May 24th, and current is the day of recording this coming out. Just under 2 weeks. Okay, Teal Mask Ogerpon, all of the Teal Mask Ogerpons, the double rare, the ultra rare, the hyper rare, and the special illustration rare, all doing really, really good. This hyper rare card, one of the best gold cards in the set, at $20.19. Okay, next we have Eevee, which is the most expensive illustration rare out of Twilight Masquerade, up 18.9% in the first week and a half or so, up to $42.78. Then we have the most expensive hyper rare card, the item Buddy Buddy Poffin, and I expected this card to actually start decreasing in value as more and more packs got open, but it's holding up pretty good, down a little bit, but currently at $43.15 for this hyper rare card. Then this is the special illustration rare Teal Mask Ogerpon, doing quite well. It is on the decline a little bit, but again, all these Teal Mask Ogerpons doing quite well for the TCG, so they're holding lots of value. This one at $45.10. Blood Moon Ursaluna, which is at $56.20, one of the more expensive special illustration rares of the set, a really cool one. Then we have the Perrin, really, really cool, one of my favorite ones, up 31.4% since release day to $78.93. Then we have the Carmine, also up 45.8%, doing really, really well, up to $117.53. This one is also a little bit shocking to me. The Grey Ninja, the most expensive card out of Twilight Masquerade so far, up 21.1% since release date at $168.67. Now, disclaimer, I remember back to Paldean Fates where the Bubble Mew and the Charizard had a big spike in the first week to 2 weeks, and then they started coming back down. So it's going to be interesting to see where these cards end up in the coming months, because it's still a really, really new set. So be careful about Twilight Masquerade. Temporal Forces, Ghastly. Okay, this is the last month worth of graph, and almost no change, a 6 cent change. Nothing too spectacular there. Though the 3-month graph, it went down from pre-release, and then it's kind of just slowly been gaining a little bit of steam ever so slowly in the last 2 months or so. Then we have Gouging Fire, not a big change. Current card is at $40.58. Iron Leaves, this one has had a nice little increase here in the last couple of weeks, up to $41.27, followed by the Walking Wake, also a nice little increase. This one's over the last couple weeks, up to $47.36. Morty's Conviction, remember, early on, this card had that market manipulation thing going on where this card spiked to almost close to $100, and now it's just kind of back down to more than where it started, but still down pretty significantly. It's at $49.31 and not even close to the top card in the set anymore, though it did hold that spot for a very short period of time. Iron Crown had the top spot for a long time, but it is no longer the top card in Temporal Forces, but it's currently $75.98. This one had that really weird market manipulation right on release weekend of Temporal Forces 2, so lots of strange stuff happening. And then the Raging Bull. This one has spiked up. It did reach a high of over $100. Now it's come back down a little bit over the last couple days here to $96.12, but the new most expensive card out of Temporal Forces is this Raging Bull, which I don't remember a set since I've been doing this YouTube channel, which has had so many changes at the top of the leaderboard for most valuable card. Okay, back to Paldean Fates. We're just going backwards from our current moment in time. Not much change here. The Baby Shiny still holding some good value, actually. The Charmeleon and the Charmander, both around that $20, $21 mark, and the Pikachu is at $35.10. Gardevoir, kind of just the same, $50.26. The Mew, a little bit of an increase up to $85.51, and the Charizard really just holding steady right around that $110 mark. Okay, Paradox Rift. This one has a few interesting ones to watch out for as well. The last month I did this video for May 2024, Iron Hands was the third most expensive card in Paradox Rift, had that big spike almost up to $40, and now it's come back down quite a bit to $29.05. Iron Valiant, kind of just holding its own, up a couple bucks to $34.49. Altaria is one of the ones to watch. This one is on the rise, up 101% over the last 3 months, but realistically, most of those gains have come in the last month. So this card on the rise. Groudon also on the rise. It sure feels like people are really starting to see how good some of these illustration rare cards are in Scarlet and Violet, and they're getting some love. That Ghastly is getting some love. The Groudon is getting some love. We'll see the Magikarp is getting some love still. There's a few other ones in Paldea Evolved that we'll look at as well. This card, the Groudon, $59.39. That's 136% gain over the last 3 months. Roaring Moon, still the top card out of Paradox Rift, and actually has had a big spike in the last couple days here, up to $70.04 after being at $60 3 months ago. Okay, SV151 didn't include much here because they're all just kind of right around the same price they have been for the last couple of months. Venusaur holding strong in that low 40s at $43.81. Blastoise in the mid to high 40s at $47.53. And then Charizard holding in that $110 zone, $110.05 currently in the marketplace. Paldea Evolved, here is some interesting stuff. Okay, the Raichu on the rise, a really cool illustration rare like I was just talking about, on the rise, up to $43.58, 107% gain. Tyranitar, 153% gain, up to $44.07. Another really cool Pokemon. And it's interesting to note, lots of these illustration rares that are really popular, Gen 1, Gen 2, maybe a little bit of Gen 3. Like, people are still going back to the old Pokemon, the OGs. Iono is the one card at the top of Paldea Evolved that is kind of just holding its own, not a ton of change at $79.37. Magikarp, big gains over the last 3 months, and this one has just been creeping up, and now it has way overtaken the top of Paldea Evolved, up to $112.82. Crown Zenith, we're into Sword and Shield era. I will say Scarlet and Violet and Obsidian Flames didn't have anything too crazy stand out to me, so I didn't include it on the list here today. Crown Zenith, on the other hand, has had big spikes. Glaceon V-Star started at $19.11 3 months ago, up 78.6% to $34.14. Leafeon, similar, $19.84 3 months ago, now at $41.64, 110% gain. Dialga V-Star, all the gold cards are up. This one's up 65.1% to $59. The next one here, Palkia V-Star, up 72.8% to $65.09. Then we have the Mewtwo, up 60% to $70.28. The Arceus, up 69% to $95. This one actually did surpass $100 for a short period of time. It's come back down a couple bucks. And the Giratina, up 75.5% to $134.98. These cards are all ridiculously spiking. Okay, now we're into the good stuff. Sword and Shield. I've heard some discourse about like, oh yeah, these cards are all slowing down. They're starting to level off. Some of them are. Some of them, the graphs do not show that. So I don't even know what to think anymore. It just feels like this feeding frenzy on Sword and Shield alternate arts. Let's take a look. Tyranitar from Battle Styles up 104%. These graphs are the last 3 months. So, and it doesn't show any signs of stopping anytime soon. This one at $185 currently. Shadow Rider Calyrex VMAX is the newest card in Chilling Reign to be over $100. Currently at $106.33, thanks to 108% gain over the last 3 months. Absolutely ridiculous graph. Then we have the Galarian Moltres. This one kind of has leveled off over the last month or so. Hit that high of $175, $176. Now it's at $174.28, and it's been there for the last couple weeks. Blaziken, this one just continues to cruise, up 137% over the last 3 months to $409.87. Absolutely ridiculous. Then we have the Mew. We're into Fusion Strike. Like I said, Evolving Skies takes its own conversation, so we skipped it. We're into Fusion Strike. Moving forward, the Mew VMAX, another card that has eclipsed $100 for an alternate art. Crazy stuff, up 80% to $106.72. Then we have the Espeon. This one is going absolutely wild. One of the biggest gainers over the last 3 months, 123% gain. Current market price, $279.02. You could get this card for $125 3 months ago. Absolutely wild stuff. Gengar, this one also surprises me because a couple weeks ago, it had eclipsed the $400 mark just barely. It was like $405 or so. Now it's dropped back down a little bit to $360.31. So that's where some of this conversation is happening. Some of these big cards are slowing down and maybe coming back down to earth a little bit. This one specifically surprises me because Gengar is such a popular Pokemon that some of the other ones that we're going to see are not slowing down. So interesting stuff. But still, over the last 3 months, still doing quite nicely on this Gengar card. We'll see how this one turns out in the upcoming weeks and months. Then we're into Brilliant Stars. This Trainer Gallery, the Umbreon VMAX, did spike to over $60 just at the start of May, and now it's down to $42.80. So still a nice gain, an 89.5% gain to be in fact, but it has come down quite a bit. Then the Charizard, another graph where it's starting to slowly come back down. It had gone right close to $200 a few weeks ago. Now it's at $178.11, but over the last 3 months, 52.4%, excuse me. Then we have the Garchomp from Astral Radiance Trainer Gallery, another one where it spiked up, almost hit $50. Now it's come back down quite a bit to $36, but still a 79% gain. Starmie, one of my favorite cards from Astral Radiance, one of my favorite cards in general. It's still a really nice gain of 66%. Current market price $62.79. And this one did come back down a little bit from its high, but now it's kind of trending in an upward direction again. Palkia, up 23.0% to $42.47. Kind of looks like that one has slowed down. The Dialga kind of looks like it's slowing down as well, but it's up to $50.39. These two cards, the Dialga Palkia, were at like $20 to $25 for a long, long time. Machamp, huge gains, 121% increase over the last 3 months. Current market price, $181.40. Looks like this one has also slowed down a little bit. Aerodactyl, similar graph, big spike in the end of April, and now it's kind of just leveled off right around that $130, $140 mark. Not too bad. The Giratina, another one kind of like Gengar, where this one was just cruising for a bruise and started 3 months ago at $262.70, now up to $450.37. For a while, I thought this one was just going to keep on rising because it just, anytime I see it for sale on Facebook, this card is immediately sold. Like, people still are in big demand of this card from my perspective. So I don't know what's happening. Okay, the Lugia, another one where it kind of leveled off, but now it's kind of starting to slowly rise again. 72.8% up over the last 3 months, and now it has eclipsed $200 again. Current market price is $216.09. Here's where we're going to end off. Evolving Skies is just like, I don't even know what to say about it. It is the new like be-all, end-all set because it's just absolutely ridiculous. Glaceon V has eclipsed $100. There is now 10 cards in Evolving Skies worth $100 or more. Absolutely wild stuff. Like, this set is becoming legendary and more legendary by the second. 87.9% gain on this card. Current market price $102.74. Espeon up 58.4%, $107.31 in the marketplace, even though this one has that like little dip at the end of the graph, so this one could come down a little bit. Rayquaza, another one where it leveled off for a week or two there, and now it's slowly coming down, but still $135.59. That's still a really big card. The Umbreon, remember PokeRev talked about how he likes this card more than the VMAX. That had that big spike. This one has really leveled off here for a while, but still $177.03. And over the last 3 months, still 101% gain. Crazy stuff. Dragonite leveled off for a couple weeks, and now it looks like it's on the climb a little bit again. $191.70 is where this one currently sits in the market price. Sylveon VMAX. So we're into the VMAXs now. This one has eclipsed $200, and not by a small margin. It's at $235.98, a 66.7% gain over the last 3 months. Glaceon, $251.70, a 69.4% gain over the last 3 months. Doesn't look like it's stopping. Leafeon maybe is stopping, but this one has eclipsed $300 at $330.18, 106% gain over the last 3 months. We're into the big ones, and this is maybe the most shocking one of them all. The Rayquaza. 3 months ago, you could get this card for $254.56. Now it is at $523.20, and it is showing no signs of stopping. Absolutely ridiculous. Man, it is a bummer because I've opened up 2 of these cards. I've ripped 2 of these cards, sent both of them in for grading, and both got a PSA 9. I was pretty bummed about it. Okay, Umbreon, we all know this is the top dog, but this one has actually leveled off. It had hit that high of like 950. Now it's down to 905.63, but still over the last 3 months, a 56.6% gain. It'll be interesting to see if some of these cards come back down or if this is just a little blip on the radar. Whew, that was a mouthful. Let me know what you think. Are you buying these cards still? Are you selling these cards? Are you just like taking a step back and waiting for the market to settle down a little bit? Like, there is a ton of movement happening. Here's my personal opinion, and this is just an opinion. It's speculative because I really don't actually know what's going to happen. But I think some of the newer sets, Temporal Forces, Twilight Masquerade, could still see some big movement. Twilight Masquerade especially, I think some of those cards are going to still come down quite a bit, just like most Pokemon sets do when they're relatively new. And I think Sword and Shield Alt-Arts at some point are going to hit like the cap where it's like, okay, these are getting a little bit out of my budget, so maybe I'm going to move into the Trainer Gallery, or maybe I'm going to move into the illustration rares, or the special illustration rares of Scarlet and Violet. But all of this kind of just like snowballs to create different trends in the market. So that's one of the reasons why I love doing these monthly videos, the recaps, seeing where everything is at, because it's just really interesting. Like, in the last month, we've seen the alt-arts go up. We've seen illustration rares start to climb. We've seen trainer galleries do something, and then they come back down a little bit. And the special illustration rares of newer sets are actually holding their value quite nicely. In this weird way, they're actually changing like the top sets, especially you look at Temporal Forces. It's had 4 different cards that have been the top card of the set in its relatively short lifespan. So lots of interesting stuff. I'm going to rip open 10 packs of Twilight Masquerade, see if we can get a banger pull. Here we go, baby. All right, so as I've been saying, I've been really enjoying Twilight Masquerade quite a bit, actually. Lots of cool cards. And we were just on a pack battle yesterday where, Unfair Stamp, the most expensive one. Not too bad of a start. But one of the big supporters on the channel here, channel members, Phantom, pulled the Perrin Special Illustration Rare on a little pack battle between the two of us. Absolutely wild. What a gorgeous card it is. And it seemed so rigged because I was like, wouldn't it be awesome if you pulled a Perrin? And literally that pack, as he was opening it, he pulled it. What a beauty. What a beauty. But let's see. All right, so 4 of these packs were the remaining packs that I had from a booster box, and then a booster bundle, a Twilight Masquerade. So I've opened mostly booster boxes, but have gotten a few like different things. Like I've opened some 3-pack blisters as well. I've opened a few sleeve blisters, the booster bundles. So kind of just trying to see if it changes at all. I personally think that doesn't make any difference. There probably is some batching issues with these new sets. Sure feels like it sometimes when you pull duplicate cards out of the same booster box and whatnot, but for the most part, it's luck of the draw. It is kind of gambling, and that's just the way it is. But back to this topic of conversation, like, is it time to sell these cards? Like, part of me thinks that there's almost a play of selling these cards, waiting a couple months, and then buying them back for a 25% discount. But Tatsuguri, yes sir. Man, do I love this card. Man, do I love this card. I've pulled it a couple times now, but what a beauty. What a beautiful card it is. It's such a risk to sell your cards though, especially like if you're just doing it for an investment. It's a risk because maybe you don't profit as much as you can, but there's something to be said about not getting greedy. But then you think about if you're a collector and you want these cards, like if you're gonna make a play to try and grow your collection, but you still ultimately want these cards, is that a smart decision? Because you're selling these cards hopefully at their peak price so that you can profit on it and then buy them back later. But what happens if they never come back? What happens if they actually just keep increasing? And then if you want that card again, you have to pay even more for it. So you actually should have just kept it in the first place. Like all of that, it's really a personal decision. How much do you want the card? How much do you need the money? Are you willing to roll the dice a little bit? Like all of that stuff matters. And that's why I said that disclaimer at the start. Like it really is a personal decision. Yes, the thumbnail is clickbaity, but you need to make sure to do your own research, to make your own decisions. Like that's like anything. You should never just listen to someone implicitly telling you what to do. Scoop up cycle with your money and do it. Like you got to do your own research. Of course you do. Of course you do. So here I am, Colin at the Poke Office, just reporting the data, telling you about how I feel about things. But for all you know, I could just be some random schmuck who knows nothing. And yet, here you are watching me. So I'm just enjoying the Pokemon scene. This is the last pack. Do we got anything? Not there. Not there. I mean, I'm okay with that, honestly. 2 Ace Spec cards, the Unfair Stamp, Scoop Up Cycle, a Blissey EX, and the Tatsuguri. Man, do I love that card. And that's going to do it for me at the Poke Office. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to subscribe to the channel with bell notifications. Hit the like button. Leave a comment. If you want to support me a little bit more, join the membership. There's some cool stuff. And I'm trying to do some more members content, but I've just been crazy busy too. So we'll get to it. And yeah, appreciate all your support. Until my next video. Peace.